Shut up and sit down.
Shut up and sit down. You're listening to The Useful Idiots. Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we have a amazing show ready to go for you. This is Luke.
Hey, this is Paul.
And today is June 7th, 2016. Forgot what day it was for a second. Had to check a calendar. And we have a show that has some pretty good information. We got a little bit about Hillary Clinton now being
The nominee
for the
Party.
Democrat Party. So now we have Trump versus Hillary. I would say
It's gonna be a bloodbath.
Bloodbath for sure. I guess I'll touch up on my possible scenario that I think has actually going on between those two that I wanted to go and talk to you about, but I didn't.
A conspiracy theory?
Conspiracy theory for sure.
Ooh.
Yeah, pretty cool. So on top of that, we also now have the third party that I would mostly support.
Distant third party.
Distant third party.
Now distant third party.
Well, now, yeah, with their steps that they've taken, yes. But the Libertarians have also thrown up their nominee for the presidential election, and I will say that I'm thoroughly disappointed in the choice. I think Paul is actually the biggest fan of their new nominee.
You're handling this. I thought you'd start off with anger, talking about Gary Johnson.
No. You'll definitely just.
You're gonna build up to it.
You just let it go with who we are. But we're building up to it, and I'm probably gonna go off in a little bit. We'll see how it turns out.
They may be cursing on this week's
Maybe
episode,
a little
kids.
bit of cursing. So kids, parents, turn it off your kids. I know it's a family show.
Listener discretion is advised.
And lastly, at least to my knowledge for right now, we do want to talk about some of the anti-Trump rallies that are going on and some secret, hidden little back room. I guess
Their back door in the back room. That's how you get into the back room. To the back door.
To the back door. That's how you get in the back room.
Yeah.
So that's how you get in there, and we know who's in there supporting it all.
Yeah.
I tried to make a little connection.
No, it was good. That was good.
It was okay.
Yeah.
And we'll go and touch on that probably in the last segment here. But to open it up, Gary Johnson, like Paul did actually bring up, is the Libertarian nominee for the nominee for the president for the Libertarian Party. And his running mate is Bill Weld. And in case you guys don't know who that is, I'll go over a little bit about him, very little bit, but it is enough to go ahead and dissuade anyone from wanting to vote for these people. So first things first, a
few months ago, I think you would have voted Libertarian no matter what.
It was a possibility. In fact, no, it's not a possibility anymore. Yeah, I'm still like kind of split on what I want to do.
Hey, maybe Gary Johnson can win you over.
He won't. He won't. I know enough to know that I'm never going to vote for that man. I didn't like him before the actual election cycle started, and I dislike him even more now as time has gone on to go and see who he really is. But that being said, the actual Libertarian Convention in itself,
it was what, like a week and a half ago?
About a week ago.
Yeah.
Only about a week ago. What would you call the Libertarian Convention this time around?
I mean, to be honest, I haven't paid attention to the Libertarian Convention in years past. I don't know if you have.
Oh, no. I have never done that. But
okay.
I guess this is the first year I'm actually into the Libertarian Party.
Being as nice as I possibly can.
Don't be nice.
For the Libertarians.
They don't deserve it after this.
And it was a giant step backwards. And not just because of Gary Johnson. See, I think there is one difference that you and I have on the Libertarian Convention. And that's reasons why it was bad. You think that Gary Johnson was a poor choice.
Oh,
no.
Yeah, I'm going to go
We could get into that and talk about that. But
yeah.
My biggest problem with the Libertarian Convention, and it might not entirely be their fault. I mean,
no, it's their fault.
It is their fault.
They have all control over the actual event.
They somehow a guy. What was that guy doing? He was running. He was running for some kind of position, like the chair of the Libertarian Party. The chair of the Libertarian Party. A man got up on stage, got down to a G-string.
I thought he was fully naked.
No, I think there was a
G-string. Well,
I had to look closely to make sure for this talk about this story today. and he was, for all intents and purposes, naked on stage. And
A grown man.
That's what people are going to see when they... I mean, does this happen at the Democrat or Republican conventions? No.
Even if it does, they hide it well.
Their messages, whether you agree or disagree, are highly controlled.
Yeah.
They're not gonna have shenanigans like that happen. I mean, people... If somebody tried to do that at either convention, cops or bodyguards or somebody's going to jump up on stage and tackle whoever it is and haul them away before they could even finish what they were doing. But not at the Libertarian convention.
No, he gets to get up and speak.
Did he speak then?
No, as far as I know, he
saw
didn't.
the clip of him.
As far as I know, he didn't actually speak. But I just kind of...
And it wasn't...
the fact that there was no outrage by any of the members there to get him off there right away is enough of a showing.
I thought people booed. Did people boo?
We'll watch the video again later.
We'll have to check it out.
We'll put a link. We'll put the link in the show notes so you guys can watch the video. We'll watch it again because obviously I didn't really...
do we have to? I don't know if he's not an attractive...
He's not attractive,
well put together man.
Not at all. He's not like me,
No, not. He's even worse than me.
Which is a surprise. It wasn't only the naked guy on the stage. The Libertarians, anybody who I guess really follows them, kind of call them kooks because they find them to be hippies just because they enjoy drugs and they don't really believe in interventionist policies, and they kind of believe in self-responsibility. So legalization of most things, really all things, is up on the table for Libertarians. So it's kind of shown by the personality of the event. And at the event, there were people smoking weed in the actual hall,
just openly
during the entire event, just in the corners, just smoking. There were prostitutes walking around selling their services
at the Libertarian
convention, like during it, not like off hours afterward or something, which I'm sure probably happens at other conventions.
It probably happens at the Republican and Democrat conventions.
Yeah. But just openly, the openness of it here at the Libertarian convention was, to me, delegitimized. Or how do you say that? Illegitimate.
It hurts their message.
They lose all legitimacy when you look at really what was going on, the shenanigans that were going on at the convention. Which, if this is the one chance that the Libertarians had to really get a hold on the political spectrum, and they're losing it consistently throughout the entire election cycle. They so far go ahead and get 3 guys, one who is wanted for possibly murder, who is wanted in other countries for drug scandals.
You're referring to John
McAfee. Austin Peterson, who's only 35, a very young man. Is he qualified? Yeah, I believe he's qualified, but he's pompous and he's a jerk. And then you have Gary Johnson, the most... You know what? I had to write down exactly what I think of him. He's lethargic, uncharismatic, a bad debater, and he's boring. The guy is boring. He's terrible at debates. How could you beat Donald Trump in a debate when he can't even beat the other 2 stooges on the actual stage? I mean,
I had to laugh out loud there. Are you calling them stooges?
They're stooges, all right?
I thought you were a big Austin Peterson guy.
I enjoy Austin Peterson, but there are other guys that were running that I did like better, that I believe are more well kept, more articulate. They understand the messaging, and they weren't coming off as the nutcases that everybody assumes Libertarians are. And that's the problem I have with this. I don't like to go and consider myself a Libertarian because I don't want to go and put a party to my name, because in reality none of them actually do support us, and it actually shows in this just by putting up Gary Johnson and what they have actually shown at the convention, that they do not care about what you think. Because you can say the delegates, 56%, say 56% of the delegates gave their actual vote to Gary Johnson. Yes, he won fair and square, but
there were a few votes though, weren't there? There was some. Wasn't there a revote or a recount because Gary Johnson didn't capture enough votes the first time around?
Oh, I don't know. Is this right?
I thought that there was. I thought Gary Johnson captured it on the second vote.
Okay, and if that's the case, I have a little more issue with it actually, because every single poll that was going on did show Gary Johnson behind. Truly.
Are you saying polls between the Libertarian candidates?
Polls between the Libertarian candidates and each other, okay. And it's very, very well established that Gary Johnson's not supported by libertarians, real libertarians. Now, I'm more of a constitutional libertarian. I believe in classical liberalism, and I do believe that the Constitution is the basis for a lot of my beliefs, but it's more sided on the actual fact of I'm a libertarian. But the issue is that Gary Johnson's not even that, and I am considered even more conservative in the libertarian groups compared to what they believe. They are much more of not anarchists, but much more on like a scale towards no government or as the most minute amount of government. And Gary Johnson is so far away from that there's no way in hell that this guy is possibly the real candidate actually being put up. It's as bad as every single Republican and Democrat nominee forever. No, but they don't support. They don't really actually go ahead and put up the candidates that are really actually representing your views. They don't. And the Libertarian Party, against all of my beliefs up until this point, are the same thing. They are no different. So I kind of did a little bit of a rant there. I'll let you go ahead and
a little bit of taken aback there. Do you feel like Gary Johnson has? I'm trying to play devil's advocate.
Sure, yeah, please, yeah.
Somebody that I know just assumed before the Libertarian Convention that Gary Johnson was the nominee. Now, do you feel like Gary Johnson has name recognition, that someone who might not pay as close attention to the Libertarian Party as you do will see Gary Johnson's name on the ballot in the general election?
Yeah.
And, at least that would help the Libertarian Party?
Yeah, I think that's
trying to play devil's advocate.
I think that's exactly what it is, and it has to do with the fact that last election cycle he actually got, I believe it was 1 million votes. It might have even been 2 million votes for all I know. But he actually was able to get a substantial amount of votes compared to every other party besides the two major parties. And that was during the second election cycle for Barack Obama. So that means that there was 2012, yeah. So there was that many disenfranchised voters that when they went to the actual polling or the actual voting booth, they decided to go for a third party. They didn't care who it was, but Gary Johnson was there, so they went Gary Johnson.
One of my friends did that. One of my friends did. Yeah, he voted for Gary Johnson.
Well, I'm happy to hear that, but it's better than the other two. But it's still it just. So I see where they're coming from. If he's able to go ahead and work off the momentum from last election cycle, which he didn't.
But it seems like Gary Johnson's stumbling out of the gate. The way he kind of got the nomination, the naked fat man that was on stage at the Libertarian Convention. That's not how you want to like.
No.
The Libertarians, between the Republican voters who are, some are really happy with Trump and some aren't. I mean, that's kind of the way things are this election cycle. Same thing with
Hillary Clinton, too.
And same thing with Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. There's a lot of, with Hillary as the nominee, there's going to be a lot of Democratic voters who are like, screw this, I don't want Hillary. I'll vote for third party.
Mm-hmm.
And this is really the Libertarians' chance to really gain some ground.
Yeah, especially...
and they just stumbled out of the gate.
Yeah, and Gary Johnson's doing an okay job at trying to go and get that message across that he likes to point out that the Libertarians are socially liberal but fiscally conservative. So you are getting both sides of the spectrum.
I don't know how I feel about that message.
It's a bad message. It's a terrible message. Because libertarians in itself is a very, to me, the best philosophy for just natural human interaction. In all reality, we don't try and control humans. You let them actually go ahead and just
live their own lives.
And live their own life with a set of rules. You understand that there's law, and everything else is kind of just humans being humans. And the two major parties do not believe in that. They believe in complete social and economic control. They believe in control compared to freedom, which is what libertarians do. And they're really ruining it with Gary Johnson, a man who believes that a Jewish bakery should go ahead and have to make a Nazi cake.
That was from one of the Libertarian Party debates.
Yeah, one of the debates where he openly acknowledged that Jewish bakers, they got to go ahead and make those Nazi cakes. Hey, that black rib joint needs to go ahead and make all those ribs for the KKK a meeting that they're going on.
Barbecue.
Yeah, the barbecue going on. No, that should not be accepted here. These people should have the right to go and deny it. And you can say it's a slippery slope, but I can get into that another time. I can get into that point another time.
Well, what about Who's the VP
Bill
nominee?
Weld. I was ready to get into him. I was ready to get into his.
You can take your anger out on Bill Weld now. Gary Johnson, he's had enough. He's done. He's
Bill Weld is Gary Johnson's enough. But when you go ahead and throw in Bill Weld, now Bill Weld is a self-proclaimed a libertarian, and by no means the guy's not a libertarian. He was governor of, I believe it was Massachusetts. I can look up to see where he was governor. But he was governor of one of those.
Gary Johnson were both in office as Republicans, correct?
Yeah.
Before?
Yeah. And, Gary Johnson was a libertarian.
He was libertarian?
Yeah, he was libertarian. Okay. But Bill Weld was Republican, but he ran as a libertarian in like philosophy. So he gets in office. Didn't pass any libertarian policies, any policies to go ahead and take control away from the federal government or state government. Kept things where they were at. The major issue with this man, Bill Weld, isn't really the fact that he wasn't able to go ahead and pass or go ahead and really push through the policies that he was really kind of emphasizing when he was running. It was who he actually supported ever since.
Yeah, the candidates he supports is kind of questionable.
He's not a libertarian. When you go ahead, in 2008, he supported Mitt Romney. Sure, say what you will about Mitt Romney.
In 2008 or 12?
In 2008. In 2008, yeah, exactly. In 2008, when he wasn't even really on this, the main stage there.
He didn't quite make it to the, he was a candidate and he ended up losing to McCain.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. So
I had to think back there for a minute.
Yeah, it's a long time ago. So he supported Mitt Romney in 2008. Now, it gets even stranger in 2012, because who do you think he would support in 2012? Well, you would think Mitt Romney. It would only make logical sense that a man who just supported him in 2008 would go ahead and support him again in 2012 versus Barack Obama, a man who is so far from a libertarian that it's absurd to even go ahead and try and screw it. We'll go to the next one.
You're not gonna.
I can't even. Just the anger is really high right now. I can't think straight. But guess who he supports in 2012? Barack Obama.
President Obama.
He put his weight behind Barack Obama. Now, not only was it absurd that he went with...
I don't know if too many people ran and voted for Barack Obama because of Bill Weld.
I doubt anybody did. I didn't even hear Bill Weld until now. I didn't even know who he was until he got the VP candidacy. So he goes Mitt Romney in 2008. Already extremely far from a libertarian perspective to go ahead and support that man. Then he switches. When Mitt Romney is running against Barack Obama in 2012, he goes for Barack Obama, which doesn't make any sense. And then in 2016, up until he actually got the VP role, he was supporting John Kasich.
Kasich, man, I do not know how that man lasted as long as he did. I had never heard of him before the election. I know he was the governor of Ohio.
Yeah, I have family in Ohio, and I don't even think they know who John Kasich is. All right,
the one state he won, Ohio, in the primaries.
Yeah, he won it, well too. So I assume he must have.
That goes to show that goes to show you that if the right politicians just attract donors, that they can last a long time in a campaign, even if they don't have popular support. But he's very much he's not a conservative Republican or even a libertarian-leaning Republican. He's more of a liberal, progressive Republican.
He's a progressive Republican, and yet he is the vice presidential running mate. I don't know if I said that correctly. Bill Weld is, for 2016. So if anybody could give me a little insight on this choice, please do, because I would love to go ahead and understand what is going on. By any chance, if any delegates for libertarians are actually listening to this, I doubt, but please send me some information. Tell me why you even decided to go ahead and put your weight behind these guys. Austin Peterson was at least a constitutional libertarian. John McAfee was a true libertarian. These guys at least supported the party and the policies that we believe they should have. I'm done.
You done?
I'm done.
You okay?
No, I'm not okay. We'll take a break and I'll come back and we'll calm down.
All right, we're going to be right back right here on Useful Idiots. Check us out online at usefulidiots.net.
And now that we're back, after listening to some of my happy rock there, calming me down a little bit,
You mellow now?
I'm mellow. I'm feeling pretty good.
Feeling all right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention another third party in this segment at all.
I
don't want to get you started.
I was going to go and finish off on it, but I'm just going to go and skip
it. Finish off on the third party?
Yeah, finish off on a third party. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and just leave it off there because I did have some more things to say about it, but just to go ahead and jump into the next segment, we can go ahead and just do that instead because we did get a
huge news tonight.
Huge news tonight. Paul, would you like to say it? I know you're happiest about it, so
hooray!
Hooray!
Hillary Clinton is now the presumptive Democratic nominee. She just won California, and I think she already had it before the California election.
She did, but it's more than this kind of really cemented it. The fact that she rightfully won it.
Rightfully, is that in quotes?
Yeah, it's rightfully in quotes. I got air
quotes. A lot
quotes
of my
going
Bernie
around
Sanders friends are sending me stories about election fraud.
Well, yeah, that's obvious.
Elections.
They're so angry. You know, they should have maybe left the Democratic Party a long time ago when they realized that it was just as fraudulent, always, as it is now.
Yeah, no history of election fraud in the Democrat Party.
Yeah, until Bernie Sanders all of a sudden jumped in. Now there's all of a sudden.
There's this election fraud, it seems.
Yeah. Somehow didn't notice it the other how many years they've been paying attention.
I don't know why I'm doing like a Marvin the Martian voice there.
It was a solid.
Bernie, I'm a Bernie supporter.
Well, they're all aliens, man. Yeah. They're from another world. So, Hillary did win it.
I thought you were trying to make that a political allegory there.
Kind of.
Yeah.
No.
So Hillary's the presumptive Democratic nominee. She did take California tonight. And her messaging shifting towards the general election is already sort of starting. She's framing herself she is the first major party candidate from either party that's a woman.
From the two major parties, we should make that clear that it is only the two major parties. She's the first woman. Other women have ran.
And she is highlighting that it's a historic win. She's changed her Twitter handle picture to say history, and it's got her picture. And also she's framing herself as the underdog.
Yeah, we'll also go ahead and say that how big of a triumph she believes this is.
Yeah, and it's a huge triumph. Now,
Hillary's triumph in the fact that she's won it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but if I was to go back in time to when all the primaries started, if I was a betting man, if there was one person on either side who I would say is the favorite, who I'm going to bet money on to win, who probably had the best odds, was Hillary Clinton. Hillary, the ultimate Washington insider.
I don't know, man. Jim Webb had a pretty good chance at winning that Democratic.
I forgot he was a nominee. I don't know how you pulled that one out there.
Because he's the only Democrat that I actually somewhat liked. You know, he isn't a progressive.
He was kind of like that other guy on stage. I remember.
Yeah, that other guy.
Guy.
So yeah, what kind of triumph?
We should have started Useful Idiots back then.
This would have kicked off.
I would have learned a few things there, like about Jim Webb. But I missed out.
Yeah, you missed out on that. It's too bad.
So Hillary's a presumptive nominee. She's framing herself as the underdog, as a historic victory. I can't get over the underdog thing because she was the first lady. She was a senator. She was the Secretary of State. Her and her husband are involved in all kinds of political things. She's got the Clinton Foundation.
She was runner-up in 2008.
She ran once before. I mean, what more of an ultimate Washington insider is there? At least for Trump, you could make the case that he's not a politician. He may be a lot of things.
You know, you're kind of contradicting yourself.
Am I contradicting?
I think last show we just talked about how I was saying he was an outsider, and you're like, well, he's running for president. He is a politician. So, yeah, be quiet, Paul. He's a politician. Re-listen to it.
Hey, I could change my mind. I'm not running for office.
Yeah, you're perfectly fine. You're in the clear.
I mean, in contrast to Hillary, though, Hillary is, wow.
She is the definition of a career politician. I guess she wasn't, but she was. And she's been involved in politics since she was in college.
Yeah,
she
before she was the first lady, she was involved in a lot of things.
Yeah, she was involved in the background of all the politics. So she has always been involved in politics. She knows how it goes. She knows what she has the connections. It's not a triumph. She's not an underdog. Well, she may be an underdog because she's a terrible candidate. I mean, she's a god-awful candidate. In reality, I don't think that they could have put up anybody worse than Hillary Clinton. I mean, Elizabeth Warren would have been a better option.
Hillary Clinton has the name recognition, but I mean, look at someone like Bernie Sanders. Now, I'm not taking anything away from Bernie Sanders' campaign, but look at how well he did. He was like a fringe candidate that only people that really follow politics knew who he was in the beginning. And he was really close. And who knows, he might not even back down still. I mean, I can't...
He may not back down. I mean, he could still go ahead. Well, he said he's going to go ahead and support Hillary Clinton.
He has said that.
Yeah, he has said that. So, yeah, he really wasn't anybody. And he was even able to go ahead and keep up with... We could have said the presumptive nominee how many months ago for Hillary Clinton. So he kept up and battled neck and neck all the way through. Yeah, he fought. Yeah, it's not really a triumph. And we really I had to go ahead and say that. Go ahead and point out the stupidity and naivety of that statement.
More and more of her messaging, we'll see it shifting towards the general election. And I'm sure we haven't heard the last of her saying how historic it is and how she's the first woman. I mean, look at who she's going against, though. Donald Trump. If there's a person who alienates women more, I don't know if there is someone. I don't know in my personal life. I don't know of any woman who's a fan of Trump.
Well, I guess I don't either personally. Well, no, I just met one today.
You did?
Yeah,
you did. That's true.
Today. Yeah.
You can tell a story about her?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and tell. You know what? This is actually a good point. I really should.
We have a 9 to 5.
Yeah, at our day job here, I was actually helping out a customer who immediately just kind of jumped in a conversation about how she needed Donald Trump's address. And, I
strange thing to say.
A very strange thing. Very odd to start a conversation off that way when I haven't even said anything other than hi. So immediately I'm taken aback because I don't ever talk politics with customers. That's an odd thing to go ahead and do. That's a way to go and get fired. So I was trying not to, but I had to ask, like, why? Because you dislike him? Because I figure, that's a huge, especially in our area, in Chicagoland area. He's just not really supported.
He's loved in some areas, hated in others.
So yeah, in our area, I would believe it's more in the hatred area. I guess there's some people who really do support him, but she ended up saying that I want Donald Trump and I have to warn him. I need to warn him, and I was wondering what she needed.
Another
to warn
strange thing to say.
She's kind of coming out from left field here. I was completely taken aback, just trying to have a nice calm day at work, and she's just hit me with some strange statements. But she ended up a very, very nice woman, very smart, and she ended up actually. I ended up asking her what she wanted to tell him, and she ended up starting off by talking about how she actually grew up in communist Czechoslovakia. 21 years of living in communism in Czechoslovakia until she came to the States to get away from that type of political environment.
Did she say anything about how she got out of there?
As far as I know, it was after they fell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was after communism fell over there. So she did leave after that. But she had to get out of the political environment. She couldn't be around that area. And she still says that it lingers, that political environment lingers to this day over in Czechoslovakia and the actual Eastern.
It's all in Eastern Europe.
All Eastern Europe, exactly. And she has family supposedly that actually works in the government over there.
Oh, wow.
And she's apparently talking to them. And there's a lot of things behind the scenes that she says. She would not release any information to me, but she's saying that she needs to go ahead and warn Donald Trump of what is to come.
Of socialism.
Of socialism, exactly. She says that is the decay of, well, she didn't say this, but it's just the way she was saying it. It's the decay of our society, just having communism or even socialism.
Venezuela. Oh, excuse me.
I brought that up. She's like, it's unbelievable. You have France, whose economy is just falling apart. They have no jobs available. Greece is falling apart. It's already have had to file bankruptcy and had to be saved, and it's going to happen again. We already know it. And Venezuela's failing. They literally are just failing as an economy, as a country as a whole. And she understands that is what comes from this political movement. She despised Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders, and I was surprised to see a woman hop out of a car and just say just loving Trump.
I've seen. I don't know if she may have said that she loved Trump, but I just think that anyone who's the opposite of socialism would capture someone. I've seen people on television from Eastern European countries that lived through communism, and wow, they get it. Like, they really understand.
They've been through it. They understand
how bad it is and how bad it could be. And it's just, I don't know how modern people in the United States can just be so blind to it. And I guess maybe we're just two gentlemen who are politically minded, and we pay attention to this stuff, and we have different influences. But so many Americans are just so oblivious to the dangers of socialism and communism.
Well, they've never lived through it. They millennials have been born after the fall of communism, so they never actually got to see what communism really actually brought. But they do see North Korea. They see what has come from countries such as Venezuela, or even Russia now. Russia still can't compete in the world for the most part.
But they're not a totally communist economy
but you
now.
can see that they still haven't even recovered from it. They haven't even recovered from the fall of it, because of how drained it has caused the economy and the actual people. The mindset is completely tainted from over there now. Just everything about it, it's corrupt. It's still corrupt. You have to admit that. I mean, the people who ran the USSR are still in power. It's just under a different banner now.
Yeah, that's true. They just put away their military uniform and put on a suit.
Exactly.
Basically.
Yeah. They just went with the times, and they realized that this is the new way to go ahead and run it. So she understands it. She despises it. She said she loved Trump. She says that he's the only person who can turn the country around. I kind of debated against her. I thought that Trump is not the correct person to do that, but I do understand where she's coming from, and I was happy to know that she at least gave some firsthand experience. I felt the chance of me kind of stumbling upon this as I was talking about politics before she even walked out.
5 minutes before.
Yeah, and it just so happened that she kind of brought this up. It was really a good moment. I didn't even think about actually adding that in the show today, and now we did.
It's done.
It's done. Yeah. We got on a tangent. Where we were talking about Hillary and
Hillary's the nominee, and then we're gonna go talk about going around the Donald Trump speeches and different Trump events. There have been a lot of protesters, and
more than you would think. I mean, I don't remember this many protesters, especially violent protesters, ever being this involved in political runnings, I should say.
Well, you think there's some money behind these protesters there, Luke?
I don't know, Paul. Do you have any information on this?
Well, it just so happens that there's a billionaire named George Soros who may be involved.
Who?
George Soros.
You're telling me it's not the Koch brothers causing all this havoc?
No. I just remembered that Glenn Beck, we used to call George Soros Spooky Dude.
Spooky Dude.
Back when he used to talk about George Soros.
He is a spooky dude. Watch a video. The guy, he's pretty spooky. But he is in fact donating.
He's a billionaire hedge fund manager. In case you haven't heard of George Soros.
Yeah, far left leaning. He's a socialist. I can even.
He has his claws in many organizations.
In many of these organizations, he has given millions of dollars to multiple organizations. I guess I should set this up. Who is providing all the actual materials for these protests and these rallies? You think that it's just somehow all these people came up with all this material and all this money and everything? No, they had to go and come from somewhere.
He's behind the organization.
The organizations.
Of all the protests.
Thank you for kind of articulating that slightly better for myself. But yeah, he's the one who's given all the money to all these organizations that are actually he's funding the organizations that are providing all the materials to go ahead and have these violent protests against Trump. And this is not being talked about by anybody. These aren't just protests. They're violent protests. This should be major news. If one of the Koch brothers donates money to anybody, apparently it's the end of all equality in the world. But if it's George Soros giving money to go ahead and forcefully try and get Bernie Sanders in office, apparently it's okay and we're going to hide it.
Well, that's sort of tactics of the left.
Saul Alinsky?
No, yeah, that too. But I was thinking more along the lines of, what you just said about the Koch brothers. Yeah, the Koch brothers do donate money to different political groups. But George Soros does the same thing, except maybe on steroids.
Yeah, really.
It's like the left will criticize the Koch brothers, but they won't say a word about George Soros.
Yeah, and neither Republicans, though, which is weird that you don't have any Republicans coming out talking about this.
Once in a while, you'll hear somebody invoke the name.
But this is a different situation. This is, to me, a little more extreme. It is actually causing chaos, and really actually using fear as a tactic, due to the violence coming out from these actual protests. And he is the person who's I guess really kind of
that reminds me of something.
What's that?
Just the other day, remember the former band? What was Rage Against the Machine?
Yeah, Rage Against the Machine.
They announced that they were coming back. What was the group that? What are they calling themselves? Yeah, Public Enemy. What's their name now?
That's a great question. Yeah, they're all together now, so it's like they're doing like a little.
Hold on, I'm doing a Google search on my phone as we're doing this.
Yeah. In the meantime, I'll just hum along or something. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess we'll go ahead and see this because what did you want to talk about this?
Well, Rage Against the Machine, they were talking about actually disrupting the Republican convention, and that's the thing. Protesting, it seems like with the left, maybe more so now than ever, if they want to protest something, I did air quotes there, that means shut it down. It's like,
yeah, there's a difference between protesting and shutting down.
Speaking your opposition to something and then actually taking action to shut the thing down. The protesters for the Trump rallies, they want to hurt people and they want to shut the Trump rallies down.
Yeah, you have the right to free speech.
And you might not like Donald Trump. I mean, people on the left don't like Donald Trump. People on the right don't like Donald Trump. But Donald Trump has his right to speak.
Free speech, exactly. Yeah. So you're basically using your threatening tactics to go ahead and stop someone from using their free speech. You believe that your free speech is more important than their free speech? Is that what the left is trying to say here?
Profits of rage.
Of rage. Which, I hate the fact that this has to be true. I like Rage Against. I like them.
They do have good music, but hardcore communists.
I didn't know that even until you told me only last week.
You didn't know? You have you ever been to a Rage show?
No. I think that was more like your time.
Oh. Well, let's see here, Sonny. Back in my day, when I went, I went to quite a few Rage Against the Machine shows, and I wasn't necessarily political minded back then.
Okay.
And I did pick up on the fact that they were handing out they had a lot of propaganda present at the shows. They certainly are hardcore leftists. I mean, they're as communist as you can get, openly communist. I'm not just saying that. I'm not just saying that as a commentator on a podcast. I'm saying that's just how they
as
were.
An objective,
I mean, they don't hide it
fan of Rage Against. Well, I mean that's and what exactly are they plan on? It was Public Enemy and Rage Against, correct?
Public Enemy and Rage Against the Machine, Profits of Rage. Oh, just today, Profits of Rage targets RNC in Cleveland.
Oh, jeez. Where are the Republicans saying they're going to do this?
The tour is called Make America Rage Again Tour.
Make America Rage Again.
I mean, we just said we liked Rage Against the Machine musically.
Yeah, exactly.
But their timing of their return just before the 2016 election, saying they're going to disrupt the RNC convention. I mean, they're not even hiding their hand. They're just showing their cards to everyone, saying, "Hey, this is what we're going to do." And I don't know,
yeah,
I feel alienated as a Rage Against the Machine fan.
Well, I mean, you knew that they were already they believed
hardcore communists.
Yeah, you knew they're hardcore communists. I didn't, so to me it was a little more of a surprise where I was like, "Well, I'm glad I like their music because at least I can listen to it. I'm not going to boycott listening on Spotify or something just because I dislike what they're doing. Still got good music. It's great workout music too, So." I did want to go ahead and touch up on that one conspiracy theory we were talking about earlier.
Oh, the Luke conspiracy theory?
The Luke conspiracy, which is weird because I'm not really the conspiracy theory out of us two, but it seems like ever since
every
the show
time
started,
we do this show, you're coming up with a new conspiracy
theory.
Yeah,
honestly, I seem to be somehow the one who's the conspiracy theorist when I never was. But, do you have something to say?
Oh, I was just going to say I was going to go home and watch Alex Jones after the show's over because that's more my arena is like conspiracy theory. I was talking about Operation. We'll have to do a future show about Operation Paperclip, but I was talking about Operation Paperclip with somebody, texting somebody about Operation Paperclip just before we went on air today.
Yeah.
So here you are with the conspiracy theory. So you're gonna have the floor right here, and you could share your conspiracy theory about what you said it was about the election.
Trump and Hillary, and I should say that being the conspiracy theory guy right now, I have no idea what this Operation Paperclip is. So that's going to be a good show because I have no idea what that is at all.
And so many people have no idea about Operation Paperclip, but it's a real thing. You can Google it, or I'm sure we'll do a future show.
Yeah, if anything, we can always write a blog post too. We should be doing more blog posts about these subjects.
This isn't the kind we were talking about this on the
air. So Trump and Hillary being the two nominees for the parties, Democrat and Republican. It's to me it's too coincidental for this to actually be possible. Now, in the beginning, I did believe that Donald Trump was all in the tank for Hillary, and he was actually going to go ahead and tank. I should say he was going to go and fail dramatically as a Republican nominee just to go ahead and get Hillary elected. And I actually do withdraw that because I do believe now that Trump and Hillary must have had some beef that started at one point, and I think Trump is all in trying to beat Hillary. I think he's doing it out of spite. He hates Hillary, I believe, for whatever reason, I don't know. And it may eventually come out.
I mean, he at one point backed her.
Exactly, yeah.
He donated to her campaign before.
Exactly.
Her Senate campaign.
And then knowingly that in 2016 she was not going to really have anyone to face off in the Democratic primary. She was going to most likely be the nominee. He jumped in the Republican to run when
there was like 27 Republican candidates.
And he's not even a Republican, just to face off versus Hillary. And to me, it's just stunning. It's too coincidental. There has to be more to the story. There has to be.
Stuff's going to come out. I mean,
I hope so.
Hillary is now officially the nominee. Hillary and Trump are going to start focusing on each other. I mean, you could say what you will about the quality of the candidates, Trump versus Hillary. All right? A lot of people would probably say that it's very poor. But hear me out. It is going to be must-see TV from now until November.
It's been like that this kind of election cycle, man.
There's going to be scandal after scandal, mudslinging. It is going to be probably the ugliest campaign that we've seen in probably our lifetimes.
Yeah, especially in my lifetime.
As far as the mudslinging and it's no one's going to take the high road.
No, not in this election. Yeah, definitely not. Look at the people that we have up right now. We know it's going to be a really cutthroat election cycle. And I'm excited because we get to talk about it.
Yeah, we'll have plenty to cover.
We have plenty to cover. So much. It's already been a great election cycle, and it's just going to go ahead and amplify in the next few months. We have exactly 5...
You're enjoying this, aren't you?
Oh, so much. Because you know why? I've kind of given up.
I knew there had to be some kind of qualifier there, because I know the people that you wanted to win aren't winning.
They're so far away now.
The first guy you wanted to lost, and
immediately
the second guy you wanted lost, and then somebody else lost.
Yeah, and now I'm looking for other parties, and I can tell you this much: there's nobody.
Those poor Constitution Party guys.
Nah. It's too bad, huh? Anybody in a third party has a chance to really go ahead and get some momentum going in this election cycle.
It was the Libertarian Party's moment.
It was.
They had it.
They are
There's people on the left and the right who are both disenfranchised right now, but they stumbled and fallen. We've come back full circle talking about the Libertarians.
Yeah, right?
No,
Damn it, Gary Johnson!
I'm getting worked up now about the Libertarians. And I just saw a poll in between our breaks. I saw a poll from the Wall Street Journal saying that 61% of Americans have never heard of Gary Johnson. So while we're debating Gary Johnson and Austin Peterson and John McAfee and the different Libertarian Party candidates, the majority of Americans have no idea that they exist.
No clue. I wonder if they know who Rand Paul is. Ron Paul?
I don't know. I mean, I only picked up on who Ron Paul was in the going into the 2008 election, so probably 2006 or 7. But I would say probably, if I had to guess majority or not majority for Ron Paul, I would say majority have not heard of Ron Paul. That's just my guess.
No, majority. I think that
you think majority of people, majority of Americans.
Yeah, they not only did they not have any idea.
Oh, my poll. I'm sorry, my poll was 60. Not just Americans. It was 60% of registered voters.
Oh, you're kidding?
Have never heard of Gary Johnson. Yeah.
So we know that the other 100 million, 200 million people have no clue about the guy. Oh, maybe they do, and they just don't care enough.
I mean,
I'm getting to a point where well,
I know where you're at as far as Gary Johnson goes. You wanted a change of the guard over there. Somebody else to try and spread the libertarian message of liberty.
Anybody that was better at it, that would be good. I could do better. I could probably be.
You're not 35 yet there.
I got time. I got lots of time. I better learn a lot in that time. So, well, everybody, you got a pretty solid show. You got a Luke rant, which I kind of want to make a jingle.
Patting yourself there on the back?
No. I guess I should have known. You were talking to me at work.
Trying to tear you down a little bit.
Yeah, I guess we shouldn't have been listening to Rage Against the Machine before the show started. Of course, you're going to get me amped up. And I guess it was just kind of... I'm going to get a jingle for that for later, so when I go ahead and get my next rant, we can go into Luke rant, and kind of maybe like...
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, right? So we can go ahead and maybe just, get people to know that was a little rant moment. We'll get you two one.
You'll have to get angrier next time.
Angrier?
Yeah, angrier.
I could
like
do
over
that.
the top.
Like Alex Jones angry?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Exactly that.
Just I wanted to do an impersonation right quick, but
you got to practice that. I've heard his Alex Jones impersonation. It's okay. His Mark Levin, Mark Levin impression is spot on. Though.
It's spot on. I think that got worse. My Alex Jones one got better.
You got to work on your Trump. Now.
The Trump one?
Your Trump
it's
one
gonna be huge.
It's gonna keep working on that Trump impression.
This election cycle is gonna be huge. All right, so everyone, you have a wonderful week. We'll go ahead and be back probably only a few days from now because there's going to be a lot of news to go and hit after this. After now, we have the 2 presumptive nominees, 3 presumptive nominees for each party.
2 presumptive nominees.
So we're going to go ahead and I guess be touching up on this. Everybody, you all have a wonderful day, and please be sure to visit usefulidiots.net.